Hello. I may call this the collaboration situation or something like that. Does it rhyme? Collaboration situation? I don't know. But anyway, I'm drinking coffee out of that weird mug where the person you're talking to sees that. There's a tiny little doggy in there and a Rottweiler here, but you'd have to be a left-handed. So is it a left-handed mug? I don't know. If they put the image here and the writing here, it wouldn't be a left-hand mug. I don't know. But only one thing's left to say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and give me your comments down below. I was thinking about doing something coming up here to try to help some small channels, smaller channels, or even large channels, maybe trying to work with other channels where that other channels might pay me a small fee to set it up. It's really hot today. It's supposed to, they say it might rain. Let me show if I can show you the sky. It's totally blue. But they say it may actually rain today. It's been hot. It has been a heat wave. They say a heat wave has to be 3 days of 100 or 3-degree weather or more, so over 100 degrees for 3 days. That's the definition. But it's been hot. I know that. But I was just thinking I could do this thing to help some of the smaller channels. They would pay me some money to set it up, and then the people could pick who they want to work with, and they pay them like $5 or $8 or whatever that person wants to set up for their payment program to do this. And I think I'm gonna call it the program and see if YouTube will not sue me. I don't know. YouTube, it seems like everything you do, they're after you. Still YouTube glitches. Views are not being counted. I've done views. I've done sometimes if you watch your own video 3 times and it shows you have 0 views, you know there's a problem. And then if your mom watches it, and your Uncle Johnny and your Aunt Susie and your friends, if it says about, if I take one of those little kittens and I make a video about them, I say she wants to say hi and it has 0 views, something's wrong. That's not the case on that one, but there's been some that I know. If I do a taste test of some form of a diabetic candy, someone's gonna watch. One other person's gonna watch that at least. But if I have 0, so it is still problems with 3-minute videos. And I can tell people, someone else got burned on this. She forgot and she did a 3-minute short of a parrot that was on her patio, kind of like where I'm sitting right now on my patio. You can hear the wind blowing, that's at least nice. But a parrot came onto her patio. We do have wild parrots out here. I think they call them Connors or red something Connors, redhead Connor or something like that. They're wild parrots out here. People just were making the story that there was a pet store that caught on fire. The fire department was putting out the fire, but they knew they couldn't rescue the pets, so they broke a hole in the roof while they're fighting the fire and opened the cages and let them all fly out. But the only problem is when there be more than one kind of parrot out here. We have one kind of parrot. And they said the reason we only have one kind of parrot is those parrots are native to this area. We were part of Mexico. Some people say we still are Mexico. It's weird. Trump doesn't want to put Mexico as a 51st state. I don't know what's going on with that Trump guy. Is he a racist? But yeah, we go all the way to Greenland to get off 51st state. We have Mexico hooks right on there, down below. But yeah, so there's one kind of parrot. So she went to film 3 minutes, she lost it. God, because the 3-minute short doesn't work. If you have a YouTube channel, write them and tell them, hey, why doesn't a 3-minute short work? And they'll tell you, oh, it does. We've never had a problem. Bullshit. Oops. Bull pucky. No, that's not true. Loretta Swit died today. Sad, huh? But anyway, I'll talk about collaborations. A lady was asking me about collaborations. She's not monetized yet, and her channel's pretty small. She's a art teacher. She has a degree in art, and she works with the recreational departments to put together programs. You know, like you'll see, your city might have some kind of a newsletter that comes out and it'll say where there's a after school ceramics class Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you pay a minimal fee for the instructor, and then they buy the clay or whatever. Maybe they up the price. Maybe the clay costs $7 and she charges $9. I don't know how it works. I mean, it's just little pieces of money come together to put something like that on. And she also does it works with the YMCA, I think, and YMCA and some summer camps and that kind of stuff. And she also has these boxes that she puts together where it has a A to Z items to make a project, a mosaic or whatever. Maybe you make pot holders. Those potholders where the girls would make them. They'd weave the different colors, and it'd be a pot holder. You use it, and it burns your hand because it's not really that effective as a pot holder. Yeah, so she does that, and She has some that these little kids, and they go to like the adult living, the residential, retirement centers where people ain't doing too red hot, and they have to be in a kind of almost bedridden, but they can maybe put together something. Maybe there's coloring or a painting or something they can do all enclosed together, so they don't have to go buy a product, put an additional product, or ask for really any help. It's all enclosed. I was thinking about buying a few, and from her, not out of charity. I mean, she's a nice person, and you always need something like that there's always something happening where someone might enjoy that type of thing. They do that with food too, like these boxes from different companies, and it either comes frozen, oh excuse me, but they're made by chefs, and a lot of times they'll be like, everything will be in there, so we'll take this, put the meat and start cooking them, put this, open this jar number A and pour that in at this time, and here's the chopped vegetables, and put together your side dish. Blue Apron or something like that. There's a few other ones. I can't think of the names right now. One of them has kind of a cool name, like I can't remember. But anyway, she does that. So I was thinking maybe I would purchase a few of those. So she wants to get some collaboration with the other things. She asked me, how does she seek them out? I said, well, you could write them. She said she does, but they always say she's too small. And I said, well, the ones I do, almost 100% are going to be one of two things: from China or from Southern California. China, Southern California. I think there's one exception to that. It's like maybe some company. I think they made those walkie-talkies. One of them, the guy has a business in the United States, but it's always China or local. That's it. People find my address. They see that I do whatever, and they say, hey, David, I have a gym, and whatever. I just talked about that recently. There's a small gym. He has 3 locations, and I think California, there's 2 in Southern California. There's 2 in San Gabriel Valley and 1 elsewhere, and I don't know if that's within the San Gabriel Valley. Maybe that's Ventura County. I don't really know where that is, but he has 3, so that they'll find me on a local level. I'll put a keyword, maybe Monrovia. I gotta do more keywords like that. I think add additional keywords to some of my things, like because I'm losing kind of the local interest. So maybe I'll start adding hashtag Monrovia, hashtag Duarte, hashtag Arcade, wherever it happens to happen from. If I cover a restaurant, like when I would do the ones for seasoning, for Sesame Grill, I would say this is in Arcadia, and I talk about that. Or if there's something happened at a Starbucks in Arcadia, or Altadena, or whatever, I'd put down that information. But she said she does contact them. They say she's too small. I said, well, they're gonna come. She asked me how big was I when I got my first one. I think I had like 300 and something subscribers when someone asked me to do one. The problem she has is she hasn't been contacted by anyone yet. And I said, well, probably what's happening is they're looking for niche products that fit your niche. So her niche is arts and crafts. Maybe that's a back to school time. Maybe that's going to happen for her in a couple of months. Maybe it's Christmas time, and you build your own ornament, or maybe it's a Christmas tree, and you can make your own little ornaments, put on that Christmas tree. A product that's something craft related to a certain holiday. That could happen. The problem with getting the ones from China is oftentimes they'll contact you, and there's going to be a time difference. So you wake up, and they're writing you in the middle of the afternoon, but it's 2 o'clock in the morning where you're from. I don't know the time difference. But, and you get thinking, they say, would you like to do a collaboration on this product? It's a riding, stationary bicycle. It's a children's bike. It's, some elastic ropes. It's some kind of exercise program thing. He said, oh yeah, I would like to do that. Some little kid screamed. They're okay though. But I've also gotten the one for children's walkie-talkies, windshield wipers for my car. I've gotten ones for different food products. A little thing that you plug in, and it makes sounds and light, so it helps you fall asleep. This dog's barking. That's what I tell everybody. He's nice. I think it's a boy. It could be a girl. Dumb as a stump. Dumb as a stump. So it's gonna bark now. Maybe stop. Not my dog, so I don't really worry about it. But anyway, so the problem with that is you're going to get... I just did one for women's pajamas. They wrote me and asked me what I do, and I said, well, I will, but I think I'm a little too large. And then they go, oh yeah. So that means they're probably just looking for people that have a certain number of subscribers, a certain number of watch hours, a certain number of views. My views now is over 1.5 million. So while people are watching his videos, let's ask them to do this. But then I'm gonna look at the fact that the guy's channel, David, lost 108 pounds, is a man, and he probably doesn't wear women's silky short pants and top. Everybody that I've given 2 pairs out, and everybody has loved those. So go back that way. And someone actually bought some, and she loved hers that she had purchased. But that's what they do. They look at it, and oftentimes they'll fall through. Like I made the suggestion, well, why don't I do the product for you? I can't wear it, but what if I do an unboxing as gifts? Mother's Day was right around the corner. I could do one for Mother's Day, one for my friend for her birthday, and get those out and show how it's convenient to mail. They're pretty, they're nice, they're soft, they're easy to mail. And she said yes, and she agreed. So you got to kind of put a little effort into it. People just want to say, hi, my name is Susan. I have some, that's not her name. I make craft boxes for children and elderly adults. I have experience with, Boys Club, Girls Club, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or now it's just called Scouts, I guess. And schools, medical centers, or please allow me to be a collaborator. Well, they may not read all that. They may send that to me. David, can you please do it? Show us a craft. Well, see, I take these things here and I hook them like this, and I put them on my head as a hat. The material is 3 bungee cords, and it doesn't take long to do it. You got these little Medusa things hanging here. It's if you're going to turn people into a snake or whatever. Yeah. So her niche is not hitting because. Maybe it's not hitting because there's a lot of people out there doing art stuff, especially if something becomes big, you'll see everybody was doing it. Everybody starts doing this, making Barbie clothes. That was really big after the Barbie movie. But that could be what's happening. So a lot of times they'll write me from China, and I'll get maybe 5 to, anywhere from 5 to maybe 20 a week sometimes, ask me what I like to do it. And maybe 1 will come through out of that. And usually it's exercise or weight loss or some kind of seasoning. The one for the clutch charger, that's because I'm an actor, but that's my main niche, they think, is weight loss, and it's not. The title says David lost 108 pounds, so they're thinking probably weight loss, which I'm telling you guys is very, very important to me. Hopefully you're able to get out there and do a little exercise. My foot was doing better, but now it started doing bad again. I just don't know what's going on. Yeah, but the sole focus of my channel is not weight loss. I mean, I have cute kittens I filmed. Today somebody had stolen some mail. I filmed the aftermath of the mail theft, and the police did come out. Turns out they said that it's not that big of a deal if someone's mail is stolen. I guess that's the gist of what I got. I don't know. It sounds like they may have said that, but in not so many words, kind of thing. So anyway, that is something that's probably happening to her. Now, she may want to go locally. Maybe she wants to go to the local craft shop. Maybe there's Big Dave's yarn barn and craft shop, and say, David, I like your product. If you give me $100, I'll shoot a 3-minute video for you and put it out there with all your information and show some of your products. I can't do 100. I can do 60. Okay, 60. And then she made $60. 60 more dollars than she had before. $20 a minute to shoot it. Why not? So she may need to go local in her niche. Maybe there's an art college near her, a private art college, or some art school where an after-school program for children, and she can talk about how she really likes the product. She said, I saw one of the projects they were doing, and I can't believe these are 12-year-old kids doing this. This is very, very good, beautiful stuff they're doing. They're doing really, really good stuff. I really think it's great. Maybe you want to sign for some classes. The information's right here, and then she put in her description. She put in her comment section, and I might write, hey, I like that. I always wanted to learn how to make those, mirror disco ball with different color mirror tiles. Oh, come on by and take a class at Susan's mirror ball company classes or whatever. But that's what happened to her. I think that she's not hitting with the Chinese. And through usually Amazon, they want you to have an Amazon thing. They'll give you usually what they do is they'll give you a discount code to give to your viewers, and commission code, so you'll get a little something, 5%, 10%, or whatever. That's the way it works for collaboration. So if you hear from them and you don't hear from them again, I don't know. Sometimes you'll you write them, they'll send you the product, and then they don't tell you how to do it. I have a chat GPT thing that they sent me. No one told me how to set it up, how to do anything with it. Here's a box. Well, what do you want me to do? I film a video for the product, and how do people get their discount? How do they get an order? Why do they care about me and chat GPT? They don't. So it has to be a reason to do it. So those are the things I usually look for. Product that is something I can endorse. I got vapes, and I don't know, I got 13 vapes, 10 and 3 individual vapes. They say they have a good draw life or something. The time that each vape thing lasts is very high, and they're supposed to be, they cost about $20 each. I got 13. I was thinking maybe I'd try to sell them for, I don't know, $100. I don't know, but I had to then check the ID, make sure they're over 21, and all that. So it's probably too big of a hassle. I don't know what to do with them. So, you can't give them to the food bank or something. You can put them in the bin for Salvation Army. But yes, that could be happening. I don't think just that she's too small, but there's a lot of people doing what she was doing. When I did David Lost 108 Pounds, people were thinking, how? The channel's official name is David Lost 108 Pounds, and this is how. But YouTube shortened it to David Lost 108 Pounds, and they're probably right. Like, it used to be called The Facebook, and now it's just called Facebook. So my suggestion to her, and maybe to you, or to me, get out there and find something local. I think I will do that. I'll try to find a local gym, some local stuff, to see if maybe they want me to do a video for them. And maybe it could be based just on percentage. Maybe it could be, I'll do a video about how beautiful this gym is and film it and everything. And I get no money up front, but I get 10% of someone's initial thing. Maybe it costs $60 to start, and then I get $6. I don't know what could be done there. Or maybe they have different exercise classes. Maybe I can do it with a trainer. You can find a trainer, a local trainer, say, I'll put out there, you give me 10%. Also, things too, are they going to give you the money? Is it a product that you see, people say, hey, David, thanks a lot. I bought that item. Thank you for telling me all about it. And then you ask the company, hey, I got some people that said they bought it. Oh, a lot of times they'll say they bought it, but they did not. Okay, or wait, maybe we didn't track those properly. We'll get you the next time. So there's things like that. What can I really do about that? They say no one bought. My friends say they did buy. They have the item. They show me the order, and they say, oh no, that never happened. There's nothing I can do. So be careful. Don't think you can be able to get all of your thing in there. Now there are different companies. One is there's an Amazon influencer company. You can sign up with them. There's another one that I signed up with, and they'll give you like 75 different companies that are looking for people that are interested in my niche. And then I just fill out a little form, and then I send it. And it goes to all 75 of those, and that's free. They get some money from the company if the company decides to use me. They have those. But remember, China is a different kind of place. I was talking to a lady who immigrated to the United States legally. She's Chinese, and she worked in something. It was some kind of they packaged and processed seasoning for different kinds of noodles. So maybe like ramen, I don't know, like those little seasoning packs. Her family had a company like that, but the government took it over from her family, and took it away. So then they made her work in a factory, or she's in a factory, and she didn't know anything about American Christmas. She knew that they would have an order that they had to fulfill to make a certain number of the 3-ball guy, and the guy in the red clothes, and the green tree. So that was snowman, Santa Claus, Christmas tree. She didn't even know where they were. They might make, the group of them might make 5,000 a day, and they have no idea that's Santa Claus or that's this, and she had no idea. So it's a totally different there. But that's what happens, and I think it's probably what she's going through, and you may be going through that too. So maybe I'll call this the situation with collaboration, or the collaboration situation. It happens to me too. I'll get last night I had 8 that wanted me to work with them. I said I'm interested in all 8. Some are dog products. One is a training thing; it doesn't zap them. One is a supplement for joints. I have a large dog, and she can have joint problems. One is for teeth for small dogs. 3 or 4 different dog ones yesterday. Then one for cats. So you got to tell them you have if you have a cat and your channel is all about rebuilding carburetors, say, oh, today I'm going to go rebuild carburetors. But before I like to show you here's Skippy, my kitty. Where'd you go? And they may you may do the best carburetor rebuilding in the world, and they're going to ask you to make a video for some kind of cat food. It can happen. Don't forget, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and if you need any help with collaborations, if I have one that fits you, maybe I can send it out to you. I think I'll do that for now. I'm going to ask each collaboration process. Are you looking for others like me, or do things like my channel? Maybe it's all about how to scoop the cat box, or kitty litter. Maybe it's all about kitty litter. Some would say cat sand. Some would say kitty litter. I don't know. What do you say? What do you say? Litter? Sand? Sand litter? A lot of it's not sand. It's clay. And they have all kinds of pretty kitty or pretty litter and all that. A lot of new products, but that might be what you hit. So you might make a ton of those, and you say, oh, you know what? You are a gnome. You are a gnome. Are you from Nome, Alaska? Nome, Nome, Nome. You see the word gnome 4,000 times. And the Nome ceramic Nome company guy, this guy has a thing. His eyes light up at night. He's solar. But maybe that's what happened. So you don't know. Collaboration, local, maybe that's what you got to do. Large, one from China, but don't think that you did anything wrong. If they ask you, would you like to do that? And you do have to be pretty quick. I would say if they're writing me at 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I want to say, usually if you click on your, if you have Gmail, you'll click, let's say, yes, I'm interested. So I'll click that. I'll say, please tell me more. I put my phone number and I send it. They're not ever going to call you because they're in China. They're in China. They're not going to call you. So good luck with that. Good luck. Take care. Oh, it's Friday. This will be out tomorrow, Saturday. Have a nice weekend.